Top 25 horses on the Derby Trail. Stick around till the end to find out who we have in our top five.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Trust the Profits. It is the Formula and El Hombre with you today. This is, it's kind of like my Derby talk. We're going to be talking through top 25, the Formula horses right here. I got El Hombre on to keep me in check, to let me know whether I got him in the right order or not. I can already tell you right now that there's a few that I was looking at the last moment thinking I should be moving up or down. I mean, these things, right, they're a work in progress. Never till the end do you get them right. El Hombre, how's it going over there?
It's going great, dude. Coming off a Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
Congrats to the Mahomes and the Swifties and everybody else. Dude, I mean, they did their thing. Congrats to them. I felt bad a little bit for Brock Purdy, who played a great game. The Niners, who were great
Yeah.
all season, but
Yeah.
they came up a little short. Maybe next year, other than the Lions are going to beat them. But
Yeah. We
anyway,
already know that's cemented in place already. Lions 2025 done.
yeah. So the top 25 contenders, dude, this is nuts. I swear to God, this is our fourth year on YouTube doing this publicly, and it's harder to do publicly than I think a lot of people think it is. All right, so I'm going to say this though. This is easily the most difficult because there hasn't been one huge standout outside of Nisos, who's not even eligible.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a horse that's been like, that's the one. You know, and
I
usually
was
there
thinking the
is,
same thing.
and there was not even. Usually there's 3 or 4 of those right now, and I can't name one of them. But here we go. We're going into a weekend where I think 1 or 2 might stand out, with the
Yeah.
Risen Star being pretty stacked.
Past
So.
3 years, right? I mean, we put at the top of our list and had them on there for the longest time. Tis the Law, Epicenter, Forte,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
now I look at my top 10 list here and I see a lot of fluctuation. We had Fierceness up there, Nisos up there. Nisos you had to drop. Fierceness, obviously he had some issues
Yeah.
lately.
Less than dominant. And then you got Dornock, and a lot of these horses you haven't seen a lot of. Obviously, it's still pretty early, but
Yeah.
I do feel like this year's a bit harder to decipher what's going on here, man, because
For sure.
I don't feel super comfy with any of them. I mean, you got locked and you got a couple of names. We'll get through them.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is the toughest group so far. Doesn't mean it's one of the better groups, one of the worst groups. We don't know yet, man.
Yeah.
But
And 2 disclaimers. We've done our best to remove any horses that are off the trail due to being trained in the Baffert barn, as you know, January 29th passed, but also injuries and needing to be taken off the trail because they can't train for the Derby anymore. We've done our best. If you got any that you've seen we've missed, this news is hard to come by if you're doing internet searches. By all means, hit us up in the comments about it. We'll take it in consideration, and I try to report on that in my Derby Talk show. And the other
yeah,
thing I want to touch on is Mardi Gras beads. Got Mardi Gras tomorrow. You know, we're talking about the
Nolan's.
yeah, exactly. Risen Star coming up this weekend. I mean, we're pushing hard New Orleans right now. Love it.
So this year, even more so than the last couple of years, I think Baffert's Barn's taken a bunch of, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it, out of the group.
Yep.
It's always a thing, but this year they did not transfer. This is a wild ride because now you're basically throwing out all. I won't say all. Let me hesitate because I've heard some backlash on this. The cream of the California crop this year is pretty much not available because of this. But I have understood in the comments that there will be some shockers coming up through, and we will wait with bated breath on that one. But yeah, we've got our top 25 here, and this is not a consensus list. This is the formulas list, and we're here to, like he said, maybe fact check them on some of these. Agree with them, disagree with them, and put in the comments. Try not to be too much of a prick, folks. Like you said, you know, we're not ESPN. We have real jobs during the day. We're doing our best out here. How's that for you?
I think that's good. Let's push on.
Let's do it.
21 through 25. El Hombre, get your drops in place for anything you do and don't like here. You talked about California horses. I think I could be wrong, but I think Stronghold might be the only California horse that I have on my list because I removed all the Baffert horses, and those were the top 25 that I had. filling in the gaps. I think that's going to take me some time, and we're going to have to watch a couple races. Um, but yeah, I think the ones that stick out for me the most on this list here, Hall of Fame, who is the horse I was kind of hinting at that I kind of wish I put up higher. I don't know if you saw his maiden race, his second maiden race a couple weekends ago, along with Southwest Stakes. He put up a better time than Track Phantom did on the same day at the same track by half a second. Won the race by 10 lengths. Hall of Fame is going to be running this weekend, and I think that is a really good horse to watch. I've got him at 24 now, but I mean, by all means, I could have put him a lot higher. Stronghold, that's another
He's in the Risen
horse.
Star, right? I mean,
He's in
yeah,
Risen Star.
he's live. Risen Star's stacked, folks. I mean,
Yes.
if you're watching from home here, I found one interesting thing. Sorry, folks,
Yeah.
I'm stumbling on my words, but
No worries.
one interesting thing here I see is the Sam F. Davis champ, No More Time, down at 22. And I got to tell you, I do agree with you that
Yeah.
this is not a big game threat to me. And I'll tell you this too, from the Tour de Force tournament and from a group of bettors I was talking to in a chat, everybody loved. Except I didn't. I didn't love No More Time, but I saw lots of love for him. And you saw what I mean. He got out. He got out on the front, did his thing. He is not going to do distance well. He is not going to survive in a pack of stronger horses. I fully agree that you've got him down here. I thought
Yeah.
that Sam F. Davis was a pretty weak field, and
It was.
you know, I agree. Again, please comment below if you don't agree with this. More power to you. Give us a reason why you don't agree, but I didn't see anything too game
Yeah.
changing in that race.
Yeah. And some people might even want me to put Stronghold higher. Stronghold came in second at the Bob Hope, second at the Los Al. I just think I have to see more of the West Coast horses minus Baffert, or even including Baffert, and see how these horses stack up against Nisos when he's trying to steal Santa Anita, right?
Shout out to Stronghold Ghost Zapper, my favorite sire, my favorite.
There you go.
I'll say my top 2 or 3 favorite horse of all time. I love Ghost Zapper, one of the fastest ever. Underrated. Go ahead. Let's go to the next group here.
You ready for the next group? All right.
Yeah, let's go.
All
So
right.
we're doing 16 through 20 here. Carbone.
Carbone. Yeah. So
Nash.
this.
Go ahead. Go one by one. I'm trying to speed you through it. I apologize.
Oh yeah, no problem. This part of my list is horses that have disappointed. Not Uncle Heavy, not Uncle Heavy. Uncle Heavy at the top is actually a horse that moved up onto the list. He was the horse that won the Withers by surprise, at least a surprise to me. Um, Jumped onto the list because of that. Curious to see whether he can build on it or not. I actually like another horse from that race better than him. It was a real close finish at the end, so you can kind of guess who I'm going with. But Carbone, Otto the Conqueror, and Nash are all horses that I've had rated higher, expected to see a little bit more from, especially Nash and Carbone. And they hit the big races and failed to produce, failed to win, failed to really push the winner in any way at the end, like I was hoping to see. And then you got Timberlake in between, who, you know, should we? Yeah.
I'm bringing sexy back.
Let's
Yeah,
be honest. Does
Timberlake.
anybody else think of anything else when they see that name? Come on, bro.
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't brought Sexy back since the BC Juvenile. We haven't seen him in a while. He's been on some lists pretty high. Didn't fare super well in the Juvenile. So again, another horse that we expected to see more from. I think he got sixth in the Juvenile. But yeah,
He
that's what
scores
this
high
section.
for in Timberlake's defense. He scores much higher on my uh, quote unquote El Hombre speed figures chart than I think 18th. But
Yeah.
I get it. You know, we haven't
Last
seen
race was Juvenile, so that has a
Yeah, oh yeah, you got to start putting in that was what? Too much math 3 months ago at this point now. So
yeah.
I mean, guys, you'd like to see a little more, and I know it's coming. It's coming. So, and I think over the next 2 weeks we'll have a lot of these questions answered, which is why it's fun to do these in early February.
Right.
So what else? Uncle Heavy, yeah, Uncle Heavy was. I don't know, man. It's so hard to
A
make
park
what
source. Yeah.
you love to see it. I mean, Otto the Conqueror, Street Sense. I mean, come on, guys. It's really, honestly, my whole thing. I was talking to a couple guys today about the top 25 show, and I'm like, man, I really struggled to reach beyond like 10.
Yeah.
But we got to throw them in, and we wanted the comments to tell us there's got to be some horses out there you guys know about that maybe we don't necessarily have on the radar, or we're not giving enough credit, whatever. So throw it in there.
There's a couple from
Um,
Japan that I have not thrown on here just yet. But yeah, there are a couple in Japan that I was taking a look at as well that we'll go into that later. But yeah,
let's
I
move
have
into
a
the
feeling.
top 15,
All
Mister
right.
Formula, and see.
Ooh,
I think we're going to get to the horses that everybody's talking about and whatnot.
we're getting closer here. So El Grande O, I was talking about El Grande O a little bit when I was saying who I liked better than Uncle Heavy, but was in the same race, finished just
Hmm.
behind. I mean, it was a real tight finish there. El Grande O, I think, finished out of the money once in 9 or 10 races. I mean, just constantly finishing in the money and then doing it at Withers, a bigger scale race. Linda
Yeah,
Rice training there. I do like what I'm seeing from El Grande O. Sneed, second at the Gun Runner, but haven't seen him since, so sort of dropping down the list. Cox,
Sneed's interesting, man. I think
yeah, Sneed is interesting.
we'll
Catching Freedom,
find
I was
out.
just going to say, right, I'm struggling to find the Brad Cox horse in this whole Derby
Yeah,
trade. We've had a
good
couple
point.
fall off that we talked about before the show, but I'm struggling to find which one is going to be the Brad Cox horse.
Might be Catching Freedom. Catching Freedom hasn't done anything wrong yet.
That's
It's
true.
early. We'll see him this weekend. Also in the Risen Star. This is definitely. I think I said it in our group chat today. This is the first clash of three or four of the horses that everybody likes or has liked in the top 25 or
Yeah,
even your top 10. First time you're going to see some of them run against each other. So
yeah,
uh, somebody or two horses, two maybe even three, are going to come out of this with a lot more respect than we have for him right now. And I think
this is true.
Catching Freedom could be one of those. Could be the one out of those.
Yeah,
So I don't know, but
yeah,
what else? What else you got here? We have the Wine Steward, who's been high on my list all along.
yeah. You've always liked the Wine Steward. He rattled off
Jessica
three
too.
wins in a row. Yeah, Jessica likes the Wine Steward a lot. Um, and second at the Claiborne Futurity after 3 wins in a row. So there's a lot to like about the Wine Steward. We just haven't seen him in a while, right? So yeah, Wine Steward. I'm not
Yeah,
going to play
absolutely,
Wine Me
man.
Up. That's for another horse. I don't have that drop for Wine
Yeah,
Steward
please
just yet.
spare
Eh,
us.
and Just Steel. This is a horse that, like Midnight Bourbon, I started not liking or not wanting to put on my list. Unlike Midnight Bourbon, he had a couple, I think, fifth place finishes, but then started to rattle off a whole bunch of in the money finishes. Second at the Southwest Stakes. He's just a horse that, especially lately in the big races, has found his way into the money. Second place, third place. Hasn't necessarily won a whole lot of the big ones, but definitely a horse if you're going to be building out a ticket to keep in mind. Same with El
I think
Grande O, but
Just Steel. I think Just Steel is a potentially a monster. That was a
I
muddy
agree.
Southwest Stakes out there.
Yeah,
So we're not sure if that is a true, a true measure of what he can really do.
yeah.
I'm a huge Justify defender.
I was going to say
I love
Justify
Justify
sitting right there
babies.
as a
Just
sire. Yeah,
yep, yep. I'd love to see Just Steel do it. And to me, Justify has become a monster of a sire already. Just like I hope you knew he would. Whether you, uh, you have your Bob Baffert accusations all you want, but that was a great horse
for sure.
nonetheless. And no limits to what the Justify horses can do here. And I think the muddy thing. I mean, the muddy thing at the Southwest may have impeded his presence a little bit. I mean, yeah, we'll see. This is going to be a wild weekend here. I think a lot of these horses are going to show who they are. And then over the next couple weeks too, we're getting into the, we're starting to separate the real contenders from the pretenders. And I think Just Steel is going to end up being one of the real contenders here.
I agree. I agree. I think he keeps moving up my list. I think
Yep.
what I keep looking at, I keep thinking he's going to keep moving up. That I think is going to be a Derby horse, assuming health is in the right place.
Right. Correct. Me too. Are
All
we
right,
ready to move into the top 10?
we are now in the top 10. This is 6 through 10 here. Honor Marie, Sierra Leone, Fierceness dropping down for me. Dornock and Liberal Arts going backwards there. So, starting with Anna Marie, winner of the Kentucky Jockey Club. Impressive closer there, closing back from like sixth or seventh in that race. Definitely a deep closer. You have concerns about that, but the horse has had 2 wins and 1 second place in 3 starts. So far, Anna Marie's figured it out. Second at the Remsen for Sierra Leone in one of those historic Remsen battles. It seems like that's becoming the norm. Having that battle with Dornock, who I put just a couple steps ahead of him. Fierceness in between the two, hard to gauge. I mean, he's either winning the BC Juvenile or he's fallen flat at the Holy Bull and coming in third place. And then Liberal Arts, winner of the Street Sense, also had third at the Iroquois, third at the Southwest Stakes. Hard to ignore Liberal Arts.
I'm a little shocked at the respect you've given liberal arts here. I think that's a little high, but it's a tough game to play here. I'm not judging. I can see it. It is definitely tougher than usual, like we've said. But listen, I think out of this group of five, let's see, three of them are in the Risen Star this weekend. Is that true?
Yeah.
Let's see. Honor Marie is, Sierra
Mm-hmm.
Leone is, and I wanted to say I lied. Just two of them, but still, I mean, this is we're gonna
Two of
find.
five.
Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of answers in the Risen Star this weekend. It's gonna be crazy. I think this is the first race that's gonna really define. Okay, these one, two, or maybe three horses kind of stand out because again, I don't know who's number one, two, three, or 10 at this point. I have no confidence. That's why we're kind of. I've been leaning on you guys more than I ever have before. Usually, I have some strong opinions.
Yeah.
I don't have any opinions, man. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, even after all these, because you've had some mutters, you've had, I don't know. I
It's
don't
a
feel
tough one to
comfortable with
sort
this.
through.
I
Yeah.
can't believe anybody's placing futures bets right now. But
Yeah.
God
Not one
bless
of
you
them.
if you have any confidence in anything right now. Which probably
Yeah.
will make for a great derby. Like last year, it was pretty wide open. It felt like it was wide open. And
Yeah.
guess what? I thought it was a really fun Triple Crown prep and Triple Crown season altogether.
I would
You know,
agree. Yeah.
sometimes you have that one or two that stick out and it ruins it because they just kick everybody's ass. Like in the year of Epicenter, which I don't know, it's happened a million times, but
Hey, when Epicenter ran, Rich Strike won, though. Although
yeah,
Epicenter ran a great race considering the pace
and
that
that
was
was
set
even
up
more
for him.
balanced than like a Justify year or there's 100 other.
American Pharaoh.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're headed. I can't imagine that there's a horse that's going to stand out unless there's one that's just hitting puberty right now that's just going, you know, ready to stretch their legs out. And with Baffert, without the Baffert magic, I just don't see.
Yeah. Nisos. Nisos would have been
Yeah,
potentially it, right?
I thought that was
Nisos
definitely
feels.
that was definitely. I mean, that horse quit racing with 200 yards to go, and they're doing parlor tricks up and down the straightaway at the end, serving up beer. He stopped off and served a couple draft beers out of the keg, and
Yeah.
still won that race by 10 lengths, 20 lengths, whatever it was. But Nisos was the one. Yeah, that's what you're getting cheated out of that, folks. The folks at home, all the Baffert lovers and haters.
Yep.
But hey,
And without
oh,
Nisos, who's going to make our top five? Are we ready?
let's go.
Here you go. I have Track Phantom at the top, followed by Locked, Mystic Dan, Surprise, Hades, and Knightsbridge, who I probably should be dropping by now, but I want to hold on to Knightsbridge a little bit longer. I should be dropping him
I'd
lower
say
on the
one more
list in
week at the
third.
most.
Yeah, one more week at
We're
the
hearing it
most.
from the pros out here.
Yeah, we've been hearing that there have been some they're slowing down Knightbridge right now, hoping haven't taken him off the trail completely. So that's why I really haven't moved him right now. Probably should move him at least down the list, but that would be the one surprise there, and just everyone else after that. Hades, as you know, he won the Holy Bull over Fierceness, made Fierceness look like, and also made him look like what Track Phantom made Nash look like.
Yeah.
Mystic Dan, who I've had high on my list in like November, December, and then a couple races where he didn't look so strong, I dropped him way down, and then boom, he comes back with a huge Southwest win, Mystic Dan. So yeah, Mystic Dan skyrocketed back up my list. I got some more love for him. Locked Locked was third at the BC Juvie, but had to fight a lot of traffic to get that third place. Looked pretty impressive. And also winner of the Claiborne Futurity, so we got him there. And Track Phantom, winner of the LeCompte, winner of the Gun Runner. He still tops on my list right now. If it's not Fierceness for me, it's Track Phantom. Some people might have Locked. I can't imagine who else you would have if you don't have Nice House and Fierceness at the top. I think it's got to be one of those two, in my opinion. Alombre, what do you got?
I mean, you got to consider door knock. You have to consider locked. I don't, but I'm just saying, like, if you're,
Door knock, okay, I'll take that. Yeah.
I don't know, it's yeah. Again, is Mystic Dan a horse you're gonna really feel comfortable about putting at number one right now? I honestly think that we might not even know the number one horse yet,
We did
or
it this
he's
time
down at
last
the
year.
bottom, or he's down at the bottom half of your list here. Because I don't feel comfortable with any of these.
Yeah.
I I highly doubted Track Phantom last time out, and he did great. So
Yep.
I will admit that I was wrong about him. I I just don't know about him. I didn't have a whole lot of confidence going into the last race. I did think he was the best horse in that race, but I think what he go off at, like even money or something,
Yeah.
I didn't feel
Yeah.
great
One to
about
one.
betting him. I didn't love him, and he won. He did what he was supposed to do. LeCompte, I'm talking about.
Yep.
But hey, listen, man. Again, I don't locked. I mean, I don't. I don't feel comfortable about putting any of these horses in the top five, let alone number one. Any of them, like even any of your top 25, I don't feel comfortable putting in the top five. So I think
You got to
you've
put
done a
someone
pretty
there, though.
right. That's what I'm saying. You've done the best you could with the situation. I think it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
I think we will. I think whoever wins, honestly, whoever wins the Risen Star probably deserves to be number one, whether it's Track Phantom or elsewhere else. Otherwise, unless it's like a four horse, photo finish or something, and
Yeah.
they run a crap time or something. But man, I can't remember a more balanced field. We said this a lot last year, but this is way worse. Like last year, you. I feel like we at least had two or three standing out.
And
There's not
Forte.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Forte. You had well, let's see. I was going to say Mage, but Mage didn't appear until later. Mage appeared in the Florida Derby. It
Yep.
really made the presence felt.
Yeah. So we had Angel of Empire, Kings Barnes, Two Fills, Tapit Trice, Derma Sotogake at some point. Yeah.
Tappet
But
Trice was showed major talent but couldn't get out of the gate. That was a big thing. I remember that. And yeah, it just seemed like, but at least you knew like, okay, this horse has the talent to beat anybody on the planet
yeah.
if the horse gets the
Arabian
right.
Night.
Yeah, Arabian Night was a monster.
Yeah. Until he
Like I
wasn't.
felt okay about locking in two or three of those up in the top
Yeah.
five. And this year, I don't know. Track Phantom, if Track Phantom wins the Risen Star this weekend and wins with any type of authority, I think that's your number one.
Yeah.
And you already got him there. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, I can't disagree with this much. Other than
Yeah.
I think Knightsbridge is off the trail. We can talk about that, but
Yeah.
you,
Potentially.
you even prefaced it with that. We don't know.
Yeah. We're not saying it yet, but we've heard that he's not. We haven't seen him do anything since he broke his maiden, which was impressive at the time, and we've sort of held on to him since then. To your point, I look at a horse like Hall of Fame, who I had at 24, broke his maiden at the fairgrounds and did so impressively. All of a sudden, that could be the horse we talk about next week at 21 if he looks impressive and actually wins by a few lengths at Risen Star. I would skyrocket him to number one as well. And
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a major overcorrection because this field is probably the best field we've seen since BC Juvenile, and BC Juvenile was so long ago that that's shaken out differently since. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you
yeah,
can only hold on to that dream for so long.
yep,
And like we saw with Fierceness, did not live to the occasion out there last time out, third in the Holy Bowl. But hey, that's another thing. Maybe Fierceness that was his bad day. Some of these horses have a bad day and then come back the next time out and
yep,
put a 120 buyer up. Who knows? But
yeah,
I don't
still
see it there
possible.
either. But yeah, man, you mentioned the Brad Cox barn not looking as tough as usual. It always gets there though.
Yeah, someone
So
will
it's
pop
just a
up.
matter of time before Cox has one of these horses that we've mentioned in the lower half, the top 25. At least one of them will show up. Um,
Or a third or fourth one,
yeah, or
as
one
has
that's
been
not
the
even on the
case.
list yet. So
exactly.
I don't know, man. This is very interesting. We are going into, like you said, definitely the toughest race so far in 2024, and
Yeah.
I think whoever wins this race will become number one with a bullet, unless, like I said, unless it was a 3 or 4 horse photo and it's indeterminate, if that's a word, which one was better than which. But
Yeah.
anything to close this thing out, man, because this is honestly, I don't even know what to make of it. We talked about doing this video a couple weeks ago, and it was like, nope, can't even try. And I
Not
feel
much
like
has
that.
changed, even. Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to put together a top 25 list because I'm sure we would have had maybe 18 to 20 of them the same and maybe different order. But
Yeah.
dude, this is I'd like to hear some of the quote unquote experts throw down their top 25 with any more accuracy than we're trying right here. So,
Let's get those comments section experts rolling out here. You guys know who you are. Who have we missed?
oh yeah,
Who should be higher? Who should be lower? Who are we over considering and overcompensating for? And I guess I'll leave you on that note as we say peace out from the prophets.
peace.